Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jayoratha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Vraja Janaranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashatasha Shishimat Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Jai Nitya-lila Om Vishnu Paramahamsa Parivrajagacharya Ashatasha Shishimat Bhakti Sadanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada Ki Jai Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai ISKCON BBT Founder-Acharya His Divine Grace A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Shila Prabhupada Ki Jai Namacharya Shila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Shri Shri Radha Krishna Gogopinath Chamakun Radha Kun Giri Raj Govardhana Ki Jai Vrindavan Mathura Dhama Ki Jai Mayapur Navadvip Dhama Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Puri Dhama Ki Jai Shri Ayodhya Dhama Ki Jai Ganga Maya Ki Jai Yamuna Maya Ki Jai Tulsi Devi Ki Jai Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Sama Veda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Transcendental Book Distribution Ki Jai Transcendental Prasadam Distribution Ki Jai Shri Harinama Sankirtan Yagna Ki Jai Cow Protection Ki Jai New Govardhana Farm Community Ki Jai Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to the assembled devotees. Oh, glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. Oh, glories to Srila Prabhupada. Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Jaya Shri Caitanya Jaya Nityananda Jaya Advaita Chandra Jaya Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Reading from Shri Caitanya Caritamrita by Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami, purports by Srila Prabhupada. So we read Adi-lila, chapter 10, text 160. Ekaika sankate lage koti koti dala Tara shishya upashishya tara upadala Ekaika sankate lage koti koti dhala Tara shishya upashishya tara upadhala Eka shakate lage koti koti dhala Tara shishya upashishya tara upadhala Ekaika in each Shakate branch Lage grow Koti koti hundreds and thousands Dhala twigs Tara his Shishya disciple Upashishya sub-disciple Tara his Upadala sub-branches. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada. From each branch of the tree have grown hundreds and thousands of sub-branches of disciples and grand-disciples. Please repeat. From each branch of the tree have grown hundreds and thousands of sub-branches of disciples and grand-disciples. Purport. It was the desire of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu that his cult be spread all over the world. Therefore, there is a great necessity for many, many disciples of the branches of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's disciplic succession. His cult should be spread not only in a few villages or in Bengal or in India, but all over the world. It is very much regrettable that complacent so-called devotees criticize the members of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness for accepting sannyas and spreading the cult of Lord Caitanya all over the world. It is not our business to criticize anyone, but because they try to find fault within this movement, the real truth must be stated. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu wanted devotees all over the world, and Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur also confirmed this. It is in pursuit of their will that the ISKCON movement is spreading all over the world. Jainian devotees of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu must take pride in the spread of Krishna consciousness movement instead of viciously criticizing its propaganda work. I read the verse again. From each branch of the tree have grown hundreds and thousands of sub-branches of disciples and grand disciples. This is a short purport and very important topics, although very short and condensed purport by Srila Prabhupada. First of all, we have to understand and appreciate and value the importance of this Sankirtan mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The preachers of Krishna consciousness are very exalted because they simply acting out of compassion and love on the behalf of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga Mahaprabhu. Lord Chaitanya emphasized the importance of preaching activities, and any Jainian devotee takes it very sincerely and seriously that the most important quality of a devotee, one of the most important qualities of a Vaishnava, is compassion. Compassionate to the sufferings of this world, helping and working sincerely in the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It's very important. It's a very exalted topic because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu made many statements, not to speak of Krishna himself, in the 18th chapter, that those who spread and preach Krishna consciousness, teach the divine message of Lord Krishna in the Bhagavad Gita, are the most dear to him. No one will be more dear to him. Therefore, a very sincere devotee who's faithful and loyal to his Guru Maharaj, in our case, Srila Prabhupada and our spiritual masters, we take it very sincerely, to the heart. There's a mission here. There's a noble mission, Srila Prabhupada. And we take it to another level when we actually feel compassion. We want to spread the teachings of Srila Prabhupada, particularly distributing his books, performing Harinam, Sankirtan, Yagna. Therefore, we are attracting the mercy and attention of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted this. Therefore, we can see that beginning from Mahaprabhu and the Goswamis, coming down, all the great acharyas, Mahabhagavata teachers, acharyas, coming down to Bhakti Vinod Thakur, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj Prabhupada, and Srila Prabhupada, and to the present Vaishnavas, the mood of preaching activities and sharing sincere realizations with others, helping them, enlightening them, about Krishna consciousness has utmost importance. And devotees who are preachers, they can feel this more than just the theory, because when we go out there, either Harinam, distribute Srila Prabhupada's books, or Rati Yatra, when we confront the material world, we can clearly see how much pain and suffering and anxiety are there, individually, collectively, and globally. How can a compassionate devotee not do something about this? Therefore, we take Srila Prabhupada's instructions very seriously, not just for our personal purification, but also to please him, number one, and for helping the conditioned souls. Preaching is not an ordinary thing. The preachers are exalted personalities. We may not be so exalted, but we carry out the orders of Guru and Gauranga. We preach on their behalf. We are distributing the literatures, Srila Prabhupada's transcendental purports, and fortunate souls who are waiting for this, knowingly or unknowingly, they're getting that Guru Kripa, that seed of devotion, somehow or other. It may not fructify in this life, but in the future, definitely. Anyone who even just touches Srila Prabhupada's books, not to speak of reading a page, not to speak of actually studying it, not to speak of analyzing it, and come to a term of willing to try, willing to surrender, willing to explore the path of Krishna consciousness, extraordinary. Therefore, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu states that out of thousands, even just one person who just chants the holy name of Krishna, utters the holy names of Krishna, even just once in his life, he is the best amongst thousands of thousands. Not to speak of a person who takes a diksha, initiation from a bona fide spiritual master, and sincerely performs sadhana and endeavoring to go back home, back to Godhead. These jivas, these souls are not ordinary. They deserve all respect and love and service. So the preachers are very exalted. And there's a couple of quotations from I found references from Srila Prabhupada's books about the importance of preachers. The preacher is very dear to the Lord. This is from Srimad Bhagavatam, 7th canto, Prahlad Maharaj. Therefore, my dear young friends, show mercy to all living entities by enlightening them in devotional service, thus becoming their well-wishers. The Lord says in Bhagavad Gita 18:55, Bhaktya mam abhijanati yavan yash chasmi tattvataha. Quote, one can understand the Supreme Personality as He is only by devotional service. Quote. Prahlad Maharaj ultimately instructed his class friends, the sons of the demons, to accept the process of devotional service by preaching the science of Krishna consciousness to everyone. Preaching is the best service to the Lord. The Lord will immediately be extremely satisfied with one who engages in this service of preaching Krishna consciousness. This is confirmed by the Lord Himself in Bhagavad Gita 18:69. Nacha tasman manusheshu kaschin me priya kritamaha. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. If one sincerely tries his best to spread Krishna consciousness by preaching the glories of the Lord and His supremacy, even if he is imperfectly educated, he becomes the dearmost servant of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. This is bhakti. As one performs this service for humanity without discrimination between friends and enemies, the Lord becomes satisfied, and the mission of one's life is fulfilled. Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu therefore advised everyone to become a Guru devotee and preach Krishna consciousness. Yare Deka Tare Kaha Krishna Upadesha. This is the easiest way to realize the Supreme Personality of Godhead. The preacher is recognized by Krishna. If one gives the conditioned soul a chance to become Krishna conscious, all his activities are approved by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, who is extremely pleased. Following the examples of the previous acharyas, all the members of the Krishna consciousness movement should try to benefit the conditioned souls by inducing them to become Krishna conscious and giving them all facilities to do so. By such activities, a preacher or anyone who endeavors to spread Krishna consciousness is recognized by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As the Lord Himself confirms in Bhagavad Gita, for one who explains the supreme secret to the devotees, devotion service is guaranteed, and at the end he will come back to me. There is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So there's a few inspiration. Obviously, when we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we're trying to get some benefit for ourselves, trying to understand things and how to apply it, how to become more Krishna conscious. And the next level, how can I share this? We have such a great fortune, such a value, such a precious knowledge, divya jnana, transcendental knowledge. How can just we keep it for ourselves? We want to share it. We want to see others to be happy. Therefore, Prahlad Maharaj prays to Lord Nrsimhadev. Lord Nrsimhadev offered all benedictions to Prahlad Maharaj. And Prahlad Maharaj simply said, how can I live, how can I go up and engage in meditation and perform great tapasya and live in a secluded place like great saintly personalities? How can I just do that and leave these poor fools and rascals behind, engage in ugra karma in large cities and towns? I cannot do that. Let me help them. Let me become your instrument. So the devotee prays to Srila Prabhupada and his spiritual master to allow him to be an instrument in the mission of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And a sincere devotee, sincerely, without any concoction, changes, repeats the conclusions of the Siddhanta. The words of Lord Krishna, and with all purity, all sincerity, trying to help others. This is the heartbeat of our Krishna consciousness movement. And as we study, especially Caitanya Caritamrita, it's all about compassion and love. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's beautiful pastimes and the devotees around him. But there's always that Sankirtan mission, glorifying the holy names of Krishna, spreading the mercy of Lord Krishna, the teachings of Bhagavad Gita. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was very pleased by the preachers of Krishna consciousness. So it is very important to understand the value of the preaching mission. Then we can confidently, determinedly carry on the mission without any insecurities about why we are practicing Krishna consciousness. Therefore, we have to have a philosophical foundation. On the other hand, Srila Prabhupada explains in this purport that there are so-called devotees who do not appreciate the value of this Krishna consciousness movement. They criticize the activities of the devotees, especially when Srila Prabhupada came to the Western world and started accepting disciples, giving them Brahmin, Diksha, sannyas, and the caste Brahmins in India, the conservatives, the orthodox Brahmins, they got very disturbed by this. How can Swamiji do this to our Dharma? We are followers of Sanatana Dharma. But Srila Prabhupada ensures in this purport that the value of this Krishna consciousness beyond our comprehension, beyond our... This is incredible mercy and value. So we don't want to undermine Mahaprabhu's mission. They don't understand this. Therefore they make offenses to the preachers of Krishna consciousness. And Srila Prabhupada said, Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu wanted the devotees all over the world. And Srila Bhakti Saranta Saraswati Thakur and Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur also confirmed this. It is in pursuit of their will that the ISKCON movement is spreading all over the world. Jainian devotees of Lord Chaitanya must take pride in the spread of Krishna consciousness movement instead of viciously criticizing its propaganda work. So only envious persons criticize the preachers. Sadly, this is the material world, and the tendency to be envious, the enviousness is very deep rooted in the heart. It's a very subtle thing. Often sometimes we can even become offensive to our God brothers, envying them. And Srila Prabhupada had a lot of difficulties in the early days. Not everyone could understand or appreciate what he is trying to do. He simply carried out the order of his spiritual master, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. And he had to tolerate harsh criticism, not just from the caste Brahmins, but also from his own God brothers. Not everyone could understand who he was. Of course, Srila Prabhupada, we can see very clearly, even we can see that he was a self-effulgent Acharya, Shakyaveda avatar, not an ordinary person. He definitely an empowered personality, established the means, the infrastructure for us, so we can all come together, peacefully practice Krishna consciousness, and develop the same mood and intention to help others. And we are very fortunate to have this farm here by the grace of Lord Krishna, beautiful lordships. This is Radha Govardhan Dari's project, and so many devotees come and go in the future. This remains their project. They agreed to come and bless the land of Australia, and giving us an opportunity to do service and develop ourselves in the Sangha of devotees. And as we feel the advancement, Krishna will empower us according to our individual nature, according to our capacity, what we can actually do for him and for the benefit of others. And it is an important thing to understand, because without understanding the value and importance of this movement, we weren't able to carry on with great determination. And Srila Prabhupada emphasized studying his books, associate with devotees, discuss the topics of Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam, back to the basics, so we can remain fixed nishta, steadiness. And this is when we are truly blossoming in Krishna consciousness. This is when the compassion appears. We want to help, not just the outside people, but also amongst each other, help each other. We support one another as brothers and sisters in the family of Srila Prabhupada. This is the family of Srila Prabhupada, and so we want to please him. That's the first thing we have to understand. We want to please our Guru Maharaj, and we want to serve and please the devotees also. And it requires a bit of purification to understand this properly. And we're going to have Rath Yatra festival very soon, next week. And Gundicha cleanse, I think on Thursday, we observe it on Saturday. Gundicha cleanse, it's an amazing pastimes. A very deep philosophy behind it also. Caitanya Mahaprabhu is teaching us by cleaning the Gundicha temple with his devotees. And he's demonstrating that is how we clean our heart also. Every dust, every speck, everything should be cleansed. So he was not satisfied until the temple cleansed many times, 2-3 times, went through the whole temple with his devotees. So similarly, our hearts should be completely clean. And then we can have an impact in the society, in a larger society also. We can distribute books effectively. We can distribute books on their merits, on the philosophy, strength of the philosophy. We can be confident and powerful. Srila Prabhupada will empower us. But we have to cleanse our hearts carefully. And this is when the purpose of Sri Caitanya Caritamrita comes alive. It becomes a reality, not just some nice scriptural knowledge or nice pastimes, yes, but it has a reality. There is actually practical application, and the devotee feels the urge, let me go out there, let me participate in the movement of Mahaprabhu. Of course, we have so many nice devotees in our movement, and they're all serving Sri Caitanya Mahaprabhu's mission according to their capacity, according to their nature. They're all supporting the mission. And then there are devotees who are very determined and very sincere to distribute literature, Srila Prabhupada's books, and a very powerful formula to preach Krishna consciousness. We are assisting Srila Prabhupada in his preaching. So we are distributing these books, perform Harinam Sankirtan. It's a very powerful formula. And after decades and decades of preaching, this remains the most powerful formula. Book distribution, Harinam Sankirtan, Prasadam distribution, a very, very powerful formula. And that way, the movement will spread every town and village gradually. Not just in a few villages, but everywhere. It depends on the purity of individuals and the collective communities. The way we take this sincerely from the heart, then will be an effect. This is a very beautiful way to how Srila Prabhupada explains it in a very simple, concise manner in this purport. The value of the preaching mission, the exalted position of the preacher, and cautioning us not to criticize the preachers because they're very exalted. Especially if they take all kinds of pain and risks to help others. There's some countries the devotees are really struggling and suffering for Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Look at Ukraine. The devotees there, they have to put up with this calamity, difficult times. There's a great misery and suffering, unfortunately. Great calamity. But another way to see, this is not opportunity to remember Krishna. This is the realities of the world, and Kunti Devi prays that this calamity is actually a blessing to the devotee, because we can remember Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Krishna. We call out, Krishna, please help us and help this world. We don't want any suffering. We don't want wars. We don't want, confrontations. We want to spread Krishna consciousness for the happiness of others. So we should be grateful that Krishna is giving us a nice platform for preaching Krishna consciousness. It's such a beautiful farm, and so many guests coming here. Very beautiful people, actually. We always have the chance to preach Krishna consciousness here. So many nice people from all walks of life. The other week I met one gentleman who was a PhD scholar from Canberra University, and we were discussing philosophy. Very, very nice people, very respectable. And you can see that they have this piety to come to see Krishna's farm, some punyas. So we should take advantage and encourage them to take Srila Prabhupada's books, and participate in the kirtans, take Krishna prasadam, and that way we feel great pleasure also. Every time I share my happiness with others, I feel very peaceful, very content, and very satisfied. I can just feel that this is what Srila Prabhupada wanted and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu wanted. And preaching is really a nectar if you really go for it. It's very nectarian, because we see people changing in front of us, changing. They start appreciating, start value, and this is how we change the world, with our enthusiasm, with our sincerity, with our love for Srila Prabhupada. So this is a great platform here, northern New South Wales, in a very beautiful region, great cities, coastal towns, harinams. Often we do harinams, not just once a week. When Garuda Prabhu is here, we do harinams more often, and we distribute books. We meet so many nice people, and when we come back to the temple, wow, Krishna, the feeling, the gratitude, the love of Shri Radha Govardhan Dari, Srila Prabhupada is just incredible. So anyone who wants to progress in Krishna consciousness, please take up the preaching spirit. Share Srila Prabhupada's books and teachings, and if you do, you become inspired. It's guaranteed. You just want to increase your Krishna consciousness. You can study Srila Prabhupada's books more deeply and understand them. Then you develop the nice service attitude. You want to serve the devotees. You start to appreciate the devotees. Everything becomes more dynamic and inspirational. It's important that we understand this for our spiritual benefit also, and to progress. So this is utmost importance, that we all have this understanding. The true mission statement of Mahaprabhu's movement is to spread Krishna consciousness. This is very important. Therefore, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Maharaj made it very clear. Preaching is the essence. So anything we do in this movement is really gearing for preaching. and showing the world, just like we have this beautiful farm here, showing the world how to protect the cows, how to develop a community, how to worship Krishna, providing nice prasadam, and teaching them, educating them, enlightening them. So this is when Mahaprabhu is very pleased. Srila Prabhupada says, extremely pleased. And Krishna also confirms that in the Bhagavad Gita. The preachers are very dear to him. So all those devotees who regularly go out preaching Krishna consciousness, let us offer our respectful obeisances to them and serve them somehow or other. Please them, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is very pleased when we serve the devotees. And that way we're going to have a powerful mission here, a powerful platform. The quality is more important than just lots of people. Even just preach to one person a day. Even just one person. There's so many people here, day and night, guests coming. Often they even find me in my room. They come down there. And I sit them down, offer them some Mahaprasadam, and I've got the Bhagavatam sets there. Often I just sell books right in my room. People find me there. Krishna brings them there. If you have the desire, things will happen. Krishna makes it happen for you. And when you go out distribute books, you tend to attract the right people. There's so many nice devotees who are expert in book distribution. Rupa Raghunath Prabhu. There's so many nice devotees who've been distributing books for decades. So it is a precious association. We should encourage each other. So this is what I can say about this short purport. Just in conclusion, the exalted position of the preachers, the value of the Sankirtan mission of Mahaprabhu. Preaching is the essence, and one should be carefully avoid criticizing the preachers and this whole movement of Mahaprabhu. We should not become envious, because envy will take us backward. We should give up this envy, and we should be grateful. Of course, simple devotees, most of us are simple devotees. We're trying to understand Krishna consciousness. We're not envious of the devotees. But Srila Prabhupada makes a point here. Unfortunately, there was a time, especially in India, when Prabhupada crossed the oceans and started this Krishna consciousness movement. He had to face harsh criticism from the so-called orthodox Brahmins, sometimes even Sampradayas. They couldn't understand his position. Because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is exalted. It just stands out from the Brahma Gaudiya Sampradaya. And even the Madhvas, they were a bit confused. Now they're appreciating, of course, because of Prabhupada's mission. So many nice devotees, Maharajis visited Udupi. There are discussions with the Brahmanas there. And even when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited Udupi, he had a discussion with the Tattvavadis, philosophers, and they had a common platform also. They recognizing Krishna as a Supreme Personality of Godhead. But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was emphasizing the Harinam Sankirtan, the importance of chanting of the holy names for this Yuga Dharma. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's mission is a very special, very exalted mission here. And we should be grateful to Srila Prabhupada that we can be participating, whatever we can do. It's a great fortune. Thank you, Srila Prabhupada. Any questions or comments? Yes?
Hare Krishna. In that 18th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, where Krishna states that verse, I think it might be text 64.
66.
Krishna says in that text that no one is more deity than he who preaches my glories to my devotees. So what I've always struggled to get my head around is when Krishna says to my devotees, it's kind of like he's not including like non-devotees.
Actually, all those people come forward. Good question. They actually devotees. We're just reclaiming them to the lotus feet of Mahaprabhu. Because they're waiting for us. They're willing to receive. They don't realize it, of course. In their past lives, they had some punyas, and by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, Caitanya Mahaprabhu, the devotees, of course, who happen to be the instruments, these people can somehow or other take to Krishna consciousness. That's why it's so important to find those rare souls or fortunate souls who are actually just waiting for the Sankirtan devotees to, and to get some benefit at least. They not necessarily consciously do that, but they definitely because no ordinary person buys a book either. See, you're already very special. Just to come and meet a Sankirtan devotee or not to speak of exalted devotees. Some may even not take it seriously at all, but somehow they come in contact with the devotees. So the devotees are reclaiming the souls to the lotus feet of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, and of course, it is true that the devotees they help others to understand the essence of Bhagavad Gita, and they become, very dear to Krishna. And so this is a very important thing every way. Either with our Sangha, Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam classes, that we can inspire one another and inspire the rest of the community, the larger society. And there's so many ways to preach Krishna consciousness. Srila Prabhupada liked the devotees to be innovative, to be creative, create some platforms. We all have our talents or skills or whatever we can do. We can preach Krishna consciousness.
Can I please share?
Yeah.
Last night we went to the Lenten Festival in Lismore and we did a big hurricane. And there was this guy and he had a heart attack right from the Lord Jagannath in the temple, in the car. And we were stopped at that moment. The ambulance came and trying to revive him. And the whole time Lord Jagannath's car was right there over the top of him, more or less. And we were told to move on, so we moved on. The procession moved on, and I'm not quite sure. I think he might have left his body in that moment. So it was quite an amazing experience. I haven't experienced anything quite like that before.
See the Sankirtan mission, the holy name, the devotees, Jagannath, the Lord of the universe. So mercy is there for sure. Especially those people who just have a sight for a moment of Lord Jagannath. See, even just a moment of saying Lord Jagannath, they get the mercy of Lord Jagannath. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, Sri Chaitanya Caritamrita ki jai, Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami ki jai.